Good morning and happy Tuesday. I am a little under the weather, so sorry about my groggy voice. All the pollen is starting to get to me a little bit. Anyways, I thought I would start off by doing something a little different this morning, which is I want to give a shout out to the people who got both of the homework questions correct. Okay, so each day from now on, I don't know why I just thought of this. I should have been doing it all along. But I want to give a shout out to the people who got them, like the homework, 100% correct. Okay, now that was a little easier task yesterday because there were only 2 questions. However, they were tough. So a lot of us missed one or maybe both of them. But these 4 people, drum roll please, Lily, Mercer, Kiara, and Caitlin. Woohoo! Way to go! There's my clap if you can hear. You 4 got them all correct, so that's wonderful. Y'all can fast forward going through these. Everybody else needs to pay close attention and let's discuss, okay? The hardest part about these problems is knowing where to put the numbers, okay? So, a little boy is flying a kite. I told you, in the video yesterday, it's going to be something like this. The kite's flying like that. The string of the kite makes, and the little boy's down here. Okay. The string of the kite makes an angle of 30 degrees with the ground. So we're going to put 30 degrees in here because the kite and then the ground would be here. If the kite is 9 meters in the air, okay, so that basically means its height, 9 meters in the air. And so how do we measure height? Well, that's straight up and down. So that's like here. Some of you wanted to put it here, and I get that because we're talking about the kite, but we're talking about its height more specifically. And this is the reason it doesn't go on the hypotenuse, because here it says find the length in meters of the string the boy used. So do y'all agree this is the amount of string, right? So that is your x or your hypotenuse. Okay, and so now we can label it and solve. So I don't know about you, but if some of you could have done this problem in 2 seconds with special right triangles. So this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And I'm actually giving you the x side. So this would be 2x. And so your answer is 18. Because you can just plug the 9 into there and you're done. So that's one way to look at it. I'm also going to show you the SOHCAHTOA way. All right, so if you didn't think of that right off the bat, no big deal. So this could be your O, and this could be labeled your X according to the 30. And so which trig function uses O and H? That would be sine. So we're going to do sine of 30 degrees equals O over H. And then you just ask yourself, is it multiply or divide? And because the X is on denominator, divide. So these 2 switch places if you remember. So it'll be 9 divided by sine 30. Normally I put approximately, but this one actually doesn't turn out to be approximately. I've already forgotten that fast. All right, 9 divided by sine 30. And there's your answer, exactly 18. And then don't forget your meters. All right, so that's how you do that one. And now let's look at number 6. A guy wire reaches from the top of a 120 meter television transmitter tower. So the 120 meter tower is this way. To the ground. So this is our wire, and I think I told you that yesterday. The wire makes a 63 degree angle with the ground. So if the ground is here, 63 is going to go there. Find the length of the wire. So I'm going to erase wire and I'm going to put X. And we don't actually need ground, so I'm going to erase it. That was just to help you kind of see where to put the thing. All right, so now according to our 63, this would be labeled O and this would be labeled H. So because it's, directly across the right angle as was this one. All right, so then which one uses O and H? That's also sine again. So sine 63 degrees equals O over H. They just happen to be very similarly set up. This is a divide as well. Some of you are getting very obscure answers. Please make sure your calculator is in degree mode. I might need to text some of y'all separately because I think some of you are in radian mode. Okay, so let's type it in. 120 120 divided by sine 63. And it's 134.679, so that 9 is going to bump the 67 up to 68. Okay, so 134, and I'm going to do approximately this time because I'm cutting off part of the decimal. And then our unit was meters. Okay, so please try to make your corrections based on what you did yesterday and make sure you understand. Okay, we're just going to practice some more today. So I thought I'd do one thing before I show you the last problems. I thought I would go over some key words that would pertain to each of the sides so you could kind of look for context clues. All right, so this side is going to be called height a lot. Another word that you can see is altitude, because you know that's another word for height. Something that we're going to talk about in just a second. The hypotenuse is going to be called the direct distance. Okay. You're going to see the word base or foot. Okay. Also, a ladder will be the hypotenuse because it leans against a house. You know, when you use a ladder, you need to lean it so it doesn't, fall over and stuff. Let's see. So you'll see all of these words, and that should kind of help you know where to put things. Okay? Let's see. If I think of other ones, I'll come back as we look at the last couple of problems. But that'll be kind of a... vertical would go here. And horizontal would go here. Remember how yesterday we saw one that was like horizontal distance? So that was like the base. Okay. Let's look at one more together, and then you're going to do 4 on your own here. So I'm going to do number 2, and then y'all are going to do the others. So it says, a woman looks out from the top of a cliff to the ocean below. In the distance is a boat. If the boat is 3,200 feet from the base of the cliff and the angle of depression is 15 degrees, what is the direct distance? So the reason I underlined direct distance is because direct distance is a word or words we did not discuss yesterday, but I just discussed it up here. So direct distance tells us we're looking for the hypotenuse. So that's what we're going to be calling x here. All right, let's put in the angle of depression. So if you remember, angle of depression, I'm going to erase this and scoot it down a little bit. Angle of depression is actually going to be drawn like this, okay? So how much was it? 15 degrees. Okay, but that does us no good for this problem. We want it to be inside of the triangle. So by alternate interior angles, we know that this angle is also 15 degrees because those two angles are congruent. Okay, so I'm going to draw my depression outside of the triangle to begin with, but then I'm going to move it to the inside to help me with the problem. Now the 3,200 feet, the key word here is, do y'all see it says base? So that means I'm going to put the 3,200 feet here. Okay? All right, so now we can answer the question. If that looks a little too jumbled, I can redraw it very clearly. So we have x here, we have 15 degrees here, and we have 3,200 feet here. Okay? And so now we can label this triangle. So this is going to be our hypotenuse, and this one is going to be our adjacent side according to this 15 degrees. And so that's going to be cosine. So we're going to say cosine of 15 degrees equals, and cosine, I'll write it at the top. Oops, almost messed that up. Okay, so cosine is A and then H. So we have 3,200 and then x. And then is this multiply or divide? It is divide. So 3,200 divided by cosine 15. And I'm just going to use my handheld calculator. So I'm going to type it in. 3200 divided by cosine 15. And we get a very large number, but it's because 3200 was large as well. So it's 3312.88. So 3,312.88, and then our unit would be feet. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to give you a hint on the last one. So 1, 3, and 4 should be pretty straightforward based on kind of what we've talked about. Number 5 is a bit of a challenge problem, and I'll give you a hint. So the picture's already done for you, essentially. I'll go ahead and tell you that. So it's asking you to find the flagpole. It's asking you to find this right here. How long is this flagpole? Well, the problem with that is you cannot use this triangle right here, because is that a right triangle? The answer is no. Okay, so I'll show you how you're going to think through this problem. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to find this big triangle. So you're going to first find this height, okay? And you're going to use 22, okay, when you're doing that. And obviously you're going to use the 400 as well. Then you're going to find the height of this little triangle here. Let's maybe use a different color so you can see it better. Let's do red. Okay, so now you're going to use, and then you're going to find this height right here. Okay, so you're going to have to do two separate trig functions. First, you're going to find the big one, the big tall height. And then you're going to find this height here, the red one. And then I want you to figure out what you need to do with blue and red in order to get pink. Okay? So essentially you're trying to find the pink, just the flagpole, but you got to find the blue and the red first and then do something with those numbers. I'll let you think about that. And then of course I'll go over it for tomorrow. Okay? So you're going to try 1, 4, and 5. I still want you to try 5. I just gave you, basically told you how to do the problem, sort of. Yeah, try those. I'll give a shout out to the 4 people who get it right. Y'all have a great day.